This happened a few years ago during a stretch of time when I was traveling a lot for work. Nothing glamorous, just cheap motels, long drives, and places I never planned on remembering. That night, I'd been on the road for almost 9 hours straight. It was well past midnight, and I was too tired to keep going. I pulled off the highway at the first exit with a cluster of food signs and a motel logo that looked vaguely familiar. I didn't recognize the name, but at that point I didn't care. I just needed a bed. The motel sat a little back from the road, partially hidden behind a row of trees. The parking lot was mostly empty, with maybe 4 or 5 cars scattered around. The building itself was long and flat, 2 stories, exterior hallways, a kind of place that hadn't been updated in decades. The neon sign buzzed softly, missing a letter, so it read like a word that didn't quite exist. I parked near the office and went inside. The lobby was small and dimly lit. A desk, a wall of keys behind it, and a man sitting on a stool reading something I couldn't see. He looked up when I walked in, but didn't smile. I asked for a room. He didn't ask for my name right away. He just asked how long I was staying. I said 1 night. He nodded slowly, like he was confirming something to himself, then reached behind him and pulled a key from the board. He slid it across the counter. Room 217. I noticed he hadn't taken my ID yet. I handed it over, and he glanced at it for maybe half a second before giving it back. No typing, no paperwork, no computer, just cash. I paid, took the key, and headed back outside. My room was on the 2nd floor, near the end of the building. The walkway lights flickered as I climbed the stairs, and the air smelled faintly like old carpet and cigarette smoke. Room 217 was at the very end of the hallway. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The room looked normal enough. Bed, dresser, small table, TV bolted to the wall. Nothing fancy, nothing obviously wrong. But there was a strange feeling I couldn't shake, like the room had been closed for a long time, and I wasn't expected. I locked the door behind me and dropped my bag. Out of habit, I opened my phone to check the route for the next day. I wanted to see how far I'd be driving in the morning. That's when I noticed something odd. The motel wasn't showing up on the map. I zoomed out, zoomed back in, typed the name manually. Nothing. I checked my location history. It showed me on the highway exit, but not at a building, just an empty stretch of road. I told myself the signal was probably bad. Old motels don't always show up properly. I set my phone down and tried to relax. Around 1 a.m., I heard footsteps outside. Slow footsteps. Someone walking along the exterior hallway. That wasn't unusual. What was unusual was that they stopped right outside my door. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening. No knot. No key in the lock. Just standing. After a few seconds, the footsteps continued down the hall. I didn't sleep much after that. At some point during the night, I woke up suddenly with the feeling that someone had just been in the room. The air felt different, heavier. I checked the door. Still locked. Nothing looked disturbed. Morning came slowly. I packed up, ready to leave as quickly as possible. Before heading out, I decided to check the map one more time. Still nothing. The motel didn't exist. I went downstairs to return the key. The office was empty. Lights on. Door unlocked. No one behind a desk. I waited a minute, then set the key on the counter and walked out. As I reached my car, I glanced up at the building one last time. Something caught my eye. There was no room 217. I stared at the 2nd floor, counting doors from the stairwell. 209, 211, 213, 215. The hallway ended. Number 217. I walked back toward the stairs, my heart pounding, and looked up again. Same result. My door, the one I slept in, wasn't there. I got in my car and drove away without looking back. A few miles down the road, I pulled over and checked my receipt. The room number was printed clearly, 217, but the motel name was misspelled. One extra letter. I tried searching that version. To this day, I don't know where I stayed that night. And I don't know where room 217 actually was. All I know is this. I don't stop at motels that don't show up on the map anymore. Because if a place doesn't exist, you probably weren't meant to stay there.